I think, especially nowadays, we are constantly, I hear so many kids like, who do I turn to? Who can just give me the answers? Tell me what to do. I need a spiritual teacher. I need, somebody that can guide
FARAS
me.
is basically saying, I need a spiritual teacher. So where do I find one?
Bro, I need one. It's hard because it's very hard to come across. We have so many imams that come to our mosques and people that we come across that's just like, could I build a relationship with this person? Or would it be that, they just give it to me in this way? How do you find, a spiritual teacher who you can have that relationship with? Is it like,
and trust?
What's the process of that?
Yeah. I think, first of all, there's definitely, the first step is just like starting the journey, right? Like, and what by starting, I mean like pick up a book, whatever book interests you, whatever book piques your interest, start reading it and start to discover the depth that exists within this religion, right? And start to discover the depth within your own self, right? And uncover those parts that you never thought about before. That itself will push you to keep pursuing. And in that pursuit, the guides will come, the teachers will come, because it's like it's like God's pulling your heartstrings, right? It's not that ultimately God's in control, right? And so it's like, there's a saying that, you crawl towards God and he runs towards you, right? Take the first step and then you'll find your way. And what I also want to say is that for anyone who wants to start that journey, there will, depending on the sources you find, things that you read, you may find yourself becoming a bit hard-hearted. You may find yourself becoming...
What do you mean by that?
You might find yourself like, you see this all the time, right? Like people will learn something and then they'll try to like stop everyone else from doing that thing and then judge other people from doing that thing. Like we often hear like, and it works in the opposite way too. Like a girl puts on a hijab and then the other girls are like, oh, like she thinks she's pious now. Like, we know about her past. And then it happens the opposite way where the hijabi may look at her other people and be like, don't they know better? And you often see this for people who may go for like Hajj and Umrah and come back and all of a sudden they're the authority and they're like telling people what to do and stuff because they've had their transformative moment. But the reality is that it's a journey. So don't get too cocky. Don't get too arrogant. Just study. And ultimately you'll find that there will be variations in opinions because you'd never want to be someone who learns something, tells someone else that thing when you're not even sure if that's categorical, right? Like that opinion, that's haram, that's halal. And then you end up breaking that person's heart. And then 10 years down the line, you realize you were wrong. Now you have no way to apologize to that person and the way you made them feel. So, just start the journey, start learning a bit. And then there are teachers, there are certain individuals and scholars that I trust, that I look up to, that I feel are foundational to like this generation of Muslims and what they've done for Muslims in America.
Well, how did you come across Dr. Umar? Because this is somebody that is a big deal. I remember Rami Youssef even shouted him out. He said, don't watch my show to learn about Muslims or whatever. Learn from these people. And Dr. Umar was, on top of that list. And he actually even came all the way from Gambia to perform your nikah. So how did you find this person?
So when I was in Dubai, I was at the studio one day. Excuse me. And Dr. Umar and his teacher came to visit Yusuf Islam. They came to the studio just to visit. And I happened to be there. And I had heard about Dr. Umar before that. So he wasn't completely unknown to me, but I sat down and, we had a conversation and stuff, and just hearing him talk, I was just kind of blown away by the breadth of the knowledge he had about various topics.
He sounds like Dumbledore.
Yeah. Yeah.
He should pull up to like other studios too.
He's like a Jedi. Exactly.
Dr. Umar studio too.
Yeah. But yeah, so, just in conversations with him and more, not even conversations, listening. The first step to learning is listening. That's like foundational. So putting aside what you think and just listening. And that happened. And then, I'm a student of his. And I remember there was this one moment, because from 19 till the time I met him, which is probably at 21, 22, there was this feeling I had of like, okay, like I feel like the music is okay. I was still in that point of like, is this haram? Is this okay? Like, should I be doing this? And I was still kind of confused until I met him, because he came to the studio. He obviously supported Yusuf Islam and Cat Stevens and the music and everything. So that was interesting. And that solidified, okay, someone of that caliber understands that there's a difference of opinion. So then he came in, then he was with me and he said, and I expressed to him, I was like, I don't really know if what I'm doing is okay. And he looked at me in the eye and he was just like, what you're doing, someone can argue it's more important than what I do, because you're going to attract all the people that would never show up to a lecture. So he was like, and then he was also the one who said, the devil never stopped. He took the tools and he ran with it. What have we done? Right? Have we built institutions? Have we facilitated that journey through arts and media and stuff like that? And furthermore, just to touch a bit on his work, he had a paper that he wrote that he published called Islam and the Cultural Imperative. And that paper is basically about, as I was saying earlier, how, Islam, wherever it goes, it takes on the color of that place, right? And it's not something here that's meant to destroy culture. So he's saying, like, what does American Islam look like, right? And he basically says, like, we have to be culture creators. We can't just consume what they're giving us. We have to create. So similar to like what you guys are creating, your content creators, and you're contributing to the culture, and you're giving something of value, something of substance, even if those who may tell you like, oh, like, well, it's not an Islamic show. It doesn't have to be. You're interviewing people from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life, and that is educational. That is helping people understand the variety of life and the variety of perspectives, and that's so important. And it's even more important that you guys are actually the Muslims that are doing it, right? Like it's Muslims who are doing it. It's not like an atheist who's sitting here like, yeah, let's learn about all these perspectives. A Muslim is, you guys are confident enough to be like, yeah, let's sit down and have a conversation, right? And that is respectable. And I feel like that's awesome. And this is exactly what Dr. Ameer means in that paper about being creators of content. And that's why he's inspired people like Rami and others. And the way they do their
Brother
things.
Ali too, right?
Brother Ali, Azhar Osman, who's a writer I think he had written for Rami and other things. Dave Chappelle. I mean, like, he's met all these people, like, he has these different relationships and stuff, but yeah, it really comes down to that's why I gravitated towards his teaching so much.
It's like the celebrity shake, how there's like the celebrity docs.
But it kind of indicates, right? Because you have all these people who are also in that field trying to find their way and trying to stay grounded, and he's helping those individuals. But I wouldn't say that he's like a celebrity sheikh or like, because he's, he is just a teacher who he spoke in the language that artists finally understood.